Good day, team. Today we are going to discuss about how to do the coding without even touching a single line of the code, leveraging Amazon QCLI prompts. So I built a intuitive application, um, very simple application. I build it and deploy it without even touching the code. Okay, so I'm going to share my journey about it, my lessons learned about it on this session. So I'm going to take it in a two part. One is about how I have started how I started the use case and what all the prompts I used to build the application. Then I am gonna talk about second part, I will talk about how I performed the deployment and what are the challenges I faced, how I have addressed it. Okay, this is about this today. This is about this two session about Amazon Q CLI. Okay, so I made a clear thought that I know I want to do about what kind of application I want to build, but how it is going to be look like, I don't know. So I'm going to do use the Amazon Q CLI prompt in a iterative manner to get it done. Okay. I have wrote all my learnings in the three blocks. So this is about my approach about against what approach I can take, whether I can use the TDD, test-driven development, or behavioral-driven development, what kind of approach I take, and what is the pros and cons of using this. And I have documented my lessons learned here. Okay. So on the same block, I have mentioned how to do the development, and the one more block is about the deployment. Let me start with a simple, and also I documented everything in this Git repo. You can come to this Git repo. I'll put it in the notes where you can come and look at it. And I also created something called my prompts, where what are the prompts I used to get it done. Okay. Let me come here. This is first I installed the Amazon Q CLI. If we go here, I installed the Amazon Q CLI and I checked right. I just ran this command called Q chat accept all. Then I started doing the development. First prompt I have given is this is the first prompt. Generate a BDD scenarios for a budget tracker application where user can add expenses and summarize by category. First, I want to create a detailed BDD. So I have taken a BDD. Then I started saying that can implement the core budget tracker application. I not created a test driven. I just started saying that can you code and complete this my requirement. Then I see what I experienced is the code is not robust, or when I'm trying to do the deployment, it is not working. When I try to test via API, it not work. Then I decided, let me take a step back approach and converted the BDD into the test-driven development. Okay, so then I have given the prompt. If you go here, this is the second prompt I created. Create a test-driven development approach for implemented the budget tracker based on the BDD I have provided. So what happened, right? So it created a comprehensive details about what is this, what kind of, what all the tests need to be done. So if you come here, sorry, I was looking at this. Okay. So it started creating the completed test. So you can see this is the test it has created. It created a complete test case, okay, test expenses tracking, and it created if I'm adding a new expenses, how it is going to be look like. All the test it is created, okay. So here also I not even touched even a single line of code. I just mentioned that create a test driven. Then based on the test driven development, I have created the next prompt I used is can come to this prompt. I'll keep this as a separate tab so we can keep navigating. So then I said, implement the core budget tracker class. First, I want to deploy only that particular class with the functionality and adding and deleting. And the same time, what I did is when I'm doing implement, all the response we are getting, I started documenting here. So if you go here to this uh, prompts, First, this is a BDD it is created. So this is my prompt, and this is the response I got it. So this is a response I got it. Then I have created a TDD. So here I created, say that this is a prompt I have given. So I asked them to refer this under my BDD dot this BDD file, and then I asked them to create a response under the budget tracker. Whatever the Python file it is shown here, I asked them to store it into that one. Here also, I not even touched any file of the code. I just given this path, and automatically you can see it is creating all the test cases needed. Okay. Then the next step I told mentioned is create, take all the input which we have created for the test driven and create the whole functionalities. This is what I have given. Okay, all the core implementation, including add expenses, update the expenses, delete expenses, everything I have to do that. I have and give the balances and what kind, how it look like uh, what are all the core functionality of the budget tracker needed. I have given them as an implementation step. Oh, this is the file it created. This is a green code. See, this is what I'm say mentioned, right? So this is a prompt I given. Implement the budget tracker Python class based on the provided test, ensuring all tests are passed. Store under this particular file. All tests created based on the TDD are stored in this. So all the tests I given the TDD as a context. So this is where my understanding of how the Amazon Q CLI given a best response when I'm giving a TDD. So BDD is more as a natural language. Uh, we have given as an instruction, but with the BDD, we have created a code which is a Python code, which is all the test driven, what we documented. Now we feeding to the Amazon QCLI, say that this is my test case. Make sure you're developing the creating the application or the Python file where we can execute in such a manner it validate all the test cases. So we are giving more context to the at the back end. It's using LLM. Okay, so we are giving more context to this Amazon QCLI or the LLM to give us the response. So that's where this TDD really helps a lot. Okay, so it created, okay, this is a test coverage. This is the test need to be covered. Add, edit the expenses, delete the expenses, giving a summaries of the category, then filter by ranges, and everything it created. And the response was stored under this file. Okay, then this is the budget tracker.python file. So you can see this class expenses is what created based on what we have requested. So it's all done. This here, I have not even touched the code. I recorded everything in the CLI. So I'm gonna walk you through the CLI also. So this is what I mentioned. Let me created a BDD scenario. It created a BDD scenario on a Gherkin format. Then later, I just say generate a Python unit test. Okay, this is the rest. I will create a Python unit test BDD for the functional test. It already creating all the Python test cases which we have mentioned. So I keep the reason I have not able to run through is every time you run it, you will get a different response. So uh, I want to store the response. So that you can see, can you create a BDD prompt and the response as a BDD file? So I make sure that all the files are stored so that I can show in a demo. That's the reason behind I store those things into the demo. So it automatically create a file system. All I need to do is yes, yes. The moment I give yes, yes, it started doing it, creating those files. Then I said, can you create it under that particular prompt structure so that I can have a better structure of the file? So you can see it is already created, and they will create a test under this particular folder. It automatically executing the file called mkdir. All I need to do is yes, and it automatically created the file, all the test cases created and stored there. Okay. Still now I not even touched a single line of code. And then I said, okay, can you store the prompt under the prompt file? Whatever the prompt I have given, I want this to be stored for the references so that it will be useful for anybody look back. If I want to change the prompt and run it again, I want this information. Okay, this all the prompts are stored under the TDD. That's what you guys are seeing. Okay, this is a TDD file I showed, right? This is a TDD file. So all the response, this is the prompt I given, this is the response you got it. So everything was stored here. Okay, fantastic. Budget tracker file is here. Okay, so then it's creating then this is a form I given, implement the budget tracker Python class on the provided test, ensure all test is passed. And I want to keep it as a green code. Okay, so I just want to keep it as a green code. Okay, fantastic. I want them to store under the SRC file. It created all the code and stored under this one. Okay, this is a catch. Okay, this is a catch I want to show you guys. Okay, so whatever the response, again, I stored under the green code as an MD file, markdown file. Then to run the test, it is asking, go ahead and run this test. Okay, so what I have done is I executed the Python test from the same cell itself. When I run the test, you can see there is a result happened. Out of this, there is a failure. Okay, there is a failure called delete expenses is failure. So even this command to run this PyTest also recommended by the Amazon QCLI. All I need to do is just to say run this. Okay, I ran this and I got the failure. Then what I did, I said it. I taken this error and said, can you just fix this error? I given this error to the prompt, say that this is the prompt I'm getting. See, this is the error I'm getting. Can you fix it? So automatically what Amazon QCLI did, you know what? These are the changes you need to do to fix this one. Do you want to make the changes? I want to make a changes line, this line. Do you want to make a changes? It's keep on asking what are the line changes it is doing. And I understand what it's trying to do is it's changing the mock code and updating the real code. Then I said, yes, yes. Yes, it's a 350 lines of code. It keep asking me, can I change this line? Can I change this line? All I need to do is I validate this mock code and make sure that it is updated. So yes, up to here, it ran. Then I, yeah, 355 line. Yes, yes. Okay, here it is run. Then it is asking, can I ask this I asked them, can you run the test again? The moment I ran the test again, you can see it out of nine test we have, create test cases we have, all the nine test cases formed. Now I can see there is an application built. Now I want to test it. Okay, I want to test this in a REST API. Or sorry, I want to test this in a Flask API, a Flask REST API. So I said create a Flask REST API using the budget tracker class, whatever the class we have created, and store under this app.file. Okay, the reason I want to keep it to this one is I want to build as a nice UI later on. But before building a UI, I want to test the API. This is the approach I have taken. So what I did is I ran this as a prompt. It automatically created a JSON file for me. Okay, it created an app.py, read this file and created all the classes, get expenses, everything, all the function converted to the REST API, and it's stored under the app.py. Okay. And all the things, it is written under the Flask app Flask empty file. Let me come to this file and show you guys. Okay. Okay, here it is. So this is the prompt I have given, and it automatically designed the API which is needed. Okay. So everything it is done by the Amazon QCLI. Still now, I not even touched a single line of the code. It is even giving how to do this call, everything. So well done. Then I came down, came back, and it has to run as an API. Okay. So this is a code it had. So it is asking me to run as a Flask run or Python source app A to B. If you want, I can show you now, but later on there is a changes in the code, but I can check is there anything. Python, Sarsi, you can see Python source app. Okay. Okay, it is already in use. So, okay, I can check. Uh, Localhost 5000. Okay, I think so I have done this testing. So you can see it's already in use. Oh, Python. So either I didn't start or start this with a different. Okay, let me start with a different port. Okay, port 5001. Okay, okay, I can edit it. Let's see. App.py. Rename. I say I'll rename like this. Rename 50. Good. Set Python app.py. Run. Good. Come here. And then there is some changes happened later on. For I build a UI. But if you look at it, there's a UI. But before that, building a UI, I have taken a Postman collection. And that also, this Postman collection also not done by me. I have asked Amazon QCLI to do it. Let me come and show you this. Okay. So I know it is very good. So I said, can you create a Postman collection and validate all the use case and store under this particular JSON? So if you come here to the repo, you can see there is something called testing API. Why I want to do is before building a UI, I want to validate all my use cases and validate everything is working fine. I find there are some changes needed to be done. So I even changed ask the prompt to change it. Okay. So this is a Postman collection. I'm in a Postman collection now. So it's have add expenses, invalid amount, all the test cases, everything is here. So we need to come here, change the base URL. Now we have running on 5050. Okay. Uh, 50. Okay. So add expenses. If I go run this amount, add grocery. Okay. So you can say if I'm running this invalid amount, if I'm running something without the proper amount in this, it will give us an error. Okay. So I need to save. Yes, I need to save. Okay. So after validating everything, then you can see in my UI also it may be updated. See, it is updated. Whatever I did, it is updated. Okay. If I'm running a wrong response, it says that there will be an error. If I want to update this expenses, I can take the expenses ID and update it. It automatically update the expenses also. So it's add gym membership, run it, and mention the membership's there. If I want to edit this one, it can edit it via API. Okay. So this is a simple budget app tracker we have created without touching a code. Even you can have a date ranges between that, what is the expenses we have. Okay, that's all great. The first I validated all the APIs, make sure it is working well. Okay, start date and end date. You can see I have mentioned this is a grocery filter you have. And summary is based on what it is. Summary, whether the grocery is how much, entertainment is how much, gym is how much. So this is based on the categorization, give me a response. I ran through all these APIs, so I'm very much comfortable now. Then what I did is, um, okay, this is API completed. Fantastic. Okay, here the Postman collection is also created. Um, some there is JavaScript. Some I made some changes about how we need to be done. So I said, can you please create a intuitive UI for this application? So it automatically. So where it is? Okay. No, I thought of adding authentication. Then I thought it's a simple application. I don't want to create any authentication. People can try out and make a changes if they need it. So done, 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 done. Even I ran through this with the Postman runner to validate against all my use cases of the test payload. That also worked well. Um, checking. Okay. Okay. This is the prompt I have given. The application looked good. Can we have a nice HTML to display about the expenses tracker application? Then it told it first creating the file structure. Look at it, understand the reasoning behind our question. It created a file structure. Then after post it created a file structure, it started creating a file. Even now, even a single line of code, I not touched it or not made any changes. I'm still dealing everything with a prompt. But only thing I'm doing is I'm taking an iterative approach. Okay. BDD. Okay. Okay. I will talk about that a little bit. So it created everything. Then this is a UI it created. Okay. So this is a UI it automatically created. So, okay. So if I go to our, see, this is a Flask UI HTML. This is a response I asked. This is yeah, this is a prompt I have given, and it automatically created a back front end architecture using HTML and a simple JavaScript, and it automatically created app.py file using the Flask application. It created REST API. It automatically done it. Everything it is completely done by it. Okay. Um, Fantastic. Now go. So the approach what we have taken, right? If you go to the blog, this is the approach we have taken. First, we define the behavior of our application, what we want. Then we fine-tuned it. Then we created a test driven. So based on that, we created a complete code. Then we have created a Flask API to validate our use case, everything, right? Then we created API documentation with the Postman collection. Then we have created a UI and integrated with our backend. Okay. Then we need to do that deployment. This I will come to the next step. Okay. So this is a iterative approach, as I mentioned, where you guys can follow the same thing what I have in a prompt. See, this is a prompt we have so far tried. Flask API, then API with Postman, then creating a Flask. So you can just take this prompt and you can build your application. Okay. But only thing is you need to have a right approach of following the proper SDLC lifecycle and give the right prompt how to do it in a, and it is an iterative approach. If I say simple prompt like this is my I want to create a budget tracker application. Can you build it and build a API and build application and give me the nice UI? I want to test it. There is a high chance you will end up encircling in the wheel. Okay. So the right approach is take a step-by-step approach, what we have done. Okay. So the whole idea which we want to convey from this particular session is follow this practice and see what is your result. Okay. I'm not saying this is a only way to do it. I'm saying this helps me to develop the application end to end without even touching the code, leveraging Amazon QCLI. Okay. One beautiful thing is I prompt whatever we have done so far in the development, right? So I documented this. Anybody interested? Feel free to read out this blog. Okay. So we tried from setting up my machine, installing a CLI, what are all the prompt I given, how the response is going to look like. If you guys don't want to do it on your laptop, if you just want to have a glance at it, feel free to read through this blog. You have better understanding what it can be done with the right prompting and in a right iterative approach. Okay, so even I said containerize the application. Um, I will come to this container application later on because I found a lot of error. So first error I told, right? I'll in the next session I will walk through once this application is done locally, and the next step is I want to do the deployment into the AWS. So I'm going to explain what are the steps taken and what are my lessons learned. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thank you for stay tuned for the session. Let's catch up on the second session. And I'm looking forward to share my experience on how I package it and deploy into the AWS. Thank you.